Dungeons and Dragons. Guys, look at this. Look at this. I love Matt Mercer so much. My good friend Jen got it for me. She's amazing. I love it. It's one of my favorite things. One of the best things I've ever gotten. Yeah, welcome back to the channel. I've been talking lately about doing some D&D mixed with some artwork type of videos, and I put a short up there recently. For something from my D&D world, so I just want to talk about it here today. I understand this might not be everyone's cup of tea here on the channel. People might be here for Overwatch or whatnot, but this is something I'm really passionate about. It's something I've been working on now for a couple of months, and I just want to share it and talk about it because I am, as I said, very passionate about it. So today I want to talk about my D&D world of Vatania, specifically the gods of Vatania. I haven't got all of them named or even written out, drawn, whatever, so I'm just going to talk about what I do have. Now, when I go over these, you might see very sort of clear inspiration. A lot of the stuff I write, a lot of the stuff I draw are very inspired by like Elden Ring, Dark Souls, stuff like that. So first up, we have Queen Seowyn, who is the queen of the abyss and mother to nearly all the gods. Her alignment is neutral. She has no cleric domains, and her symbol is a black velvet petunia. This is what she looks like. Now, Queen Seowyn is she's a very rare sight for any sort of mortal to lay eyes upon. She mainly sticks within her castle and handles all sorts of affairs from there. Seowyn is still a character I'm heavily working on, but I really like her design. Very inspired by like the likes of Firekeeper or my previous D&D villain, Drelnata. Damn, I miss Drelnata. Really do. I've talked about Drelnata here on the channel as well. You can check out the D&D playlist as well if you want to see more on that. But very inspired by that, the black mask that covers the eyes. Her outfit's still a big work in progress. I didn't really know what I wanted to go with for when I drew it. But in terms of the hair, the face, the eye mask, the sort of halo thing, really happy with it. But since she, in my current campaign, doesn't have too massive of a prominent role, I haven't really gone too far into actually writing about her just yet. But I hope they get more of that done soon. The next one I want to talk about is Thyros of the Scarlet Church. Now, if you've seen the short on the channel or on my Twitter or anywhere else, Thyros is not the best of dudes. He is brother to Queen Seowyn, so he would be uncle to a lot of the other gods. I've only ever done one drawing of Thyros, it being the same one I used in the short. But Thyros is known as the one true god, lawful evil, no clerics, and he has a symbol of a scarlet cross, which looks like this. Now, Thyros wasn't always a bad dude. In fact, he used to be a very proud champion of the people, and he served Queen Seowyn with pride and honor and was one of her most trusted companions. But as time went on, Queen Seowyn's set of twins were born. Their power grew immense, eventually creating the world of Vatania themselves. Thyros would eventually become jealous of this immense power and desire a place to rule over for himself, falling from the graces of Seowyn into the depths of greed and jealousy. So the way he sort of recruits people for his following is he'll plant black roses around either the abyss or the world of Vatania, which will entice people to follow in his steps, placing him as their one true lord. I'm really enjoying Thyros. He has a big part to play in the current campaign I am running. One of my players being enticed by Thyros, leaving the party in very difficult situations. I am really enjoying what Thyros is about. I'm kind of going for sort of, I don't want to say old Christian vibes, but followers of Thyros would see any other sort of either religion or temple to God and say, no, this is wrong. Thyros is the only one, and if you don't like it, we're going to kill you. Very tyrannical, very evil, and I'm really enjoying sort of progressing his story as the campaign I'm running goes ahead. Next, I want to move on to Esmer, the goddess of light and creation of the world of Vatania. So Esmer is lawful good, clerics of light and life domain, and she's a symbol of a woman's face with the sun shining behind her. Paladins and clerics belonging to Esmer have a strong sense of compassion, justice, and seek to guide others with hope and inspiration. Very much so a good person. This is what Esmer looks like. Very reminiscent of Guinevere from Dark Souls 1. Sort of vibe I'm going for. I'm really enjoying Esmer. One of my players is actually following Esmer as a cleric of life, and then they themselves are very bubbly, very happy, try to see the best in everyone. But quickly moving on to Esmer's twin sister, who I will not be revealing the name for, so I'm just gonna say the moon. So mainly in Vatania, the moon has been the center of religion and life for many years. So whereas the sun would stand for hope, inspiration, compassion, the moon would stand for grace and guidance. The moon has a very prominent part to play in my main story campaign, which will be happening whenever. So for now, the only drawing I have of the moon is this one. I do not want the face to be revealed yet, but sort of give something out there to mainly give a little taste of what's going on. But that is the twin sister to Esmer, Seowin's pair of twins, the sun and the moon. The two of them would have created the world of Vatania themselves, and they would be there to make sure that nothing is going wrong, and that the people that they lead are led with hope, compassion, and grace. Next, I want to talk about Eudex's Elwyn, known as the Judge. He is completely neutral, clerics of the Order domain, and his symbol is a symbol of a halberd with scales in the back. Elwyn being another child of Seowin, he would guard the capital city from any sort of invader. In order to enter, one must beat Elwyn in a battle of strength. Anything goes, magic, physical attacks, as long as you can get him to surrender, you are proved worthy to enter the city. Very reminiscent of Eudex's Gundyr from Dark Souls 3. One of the coolest bosses ever. One of my goats. His story is so incredible. A champion who failed to link the fire and now stands guard outside Firelink Shrine as a test to anyone trying to link the first flame. Incredible. So I'm kind of going for that sort of vibe with him. I really like him. He's really cool. He has a dragon. He's got a good dragon friend, so kind of reminiscent of the Nameless King as well in that situation. But insanely cool. Around his battlefield, there are numerous gravestones, all engraved with the names of people who have fallen to his blade as a sign of honor. I've no drawing for him, but I'm working on it. Just to move on next to talk about Haldwyn, the Weaver of Souls, a neutral god with clerics of the Grave domain, his symbol being of a skull and a scythe. I have no drawing for him, but I can do my best to describe him. Real big, kind of like Lord Walner from Dark Souls 3. Big skeleton, big skull. Haldwyn is the firstborn child of Seowin. He roams a plane known as the Field of Dead, allowing worthy souls to pass on to the next life, or for those he deems unworthy, their soul will be weaved into a blanket for anyone who is unfortunate enough to be caught in the dark realm of the Veil. The Veil sort of being like limbo, like purgatory. The Field of Dead is a endless field of waist-high grass, brisk wind, and rain that never seems to stop. To find your way to the afterlife, you must be on the lookout for a trail. If Haldwyn is to find you and deem you unworthy, he will condemn your soul to his weave, which is a very painful experience. Moving on, I want to talk about one of my favorite gods, Guinevere, the Queen of Blood. Guinevere is the god I have the most lore for. She is a lawful evil goddess with domains in blood or grave, and her symbol is a caged heart. Not to get too far into the entire backstory of Guinevere, but basically Guinevere starts out as a normal human girl who throughout her life has struggled through hardships and having her mother slain at a very young age. She was then captured and sold off to a vampire lord as he was looking for fresh new spawn. Having been turned into a vampire and remaining a spawn under her master for many years, she finally decided she had enough. No longer wishing to be ruled by anyone, wanting to stand as her own force, she devised a plan for her vampire master to allow her to drink from his blood, where she would ascend to true vampire, eventually killing her master not too long after. With newfound power, control over everything her master ever owned, she decided she was going to take revenge on the people that had slain her mother many years ago. Upon doing so, she would discover the Scarlet Church, who threatened her power and her domain, so she would eventually fight against those forces of evil. This would catch the attention of the moon, in which the moon would extend an offer to Guinevere to ascend to godhood and becoming her adopted sister. Guinevere would accept under the terms that the moon, or Seowin, do not rule her, and the moon reassuring that they would be welcomed as family, free to act of their own will, as long as the fight against the Scarlet Church were to continue. Now she rules from a shadowy land called Glacoa, with many vampires spawn under her wing, and a day every year where she gets domain over the moon, causing it to turn red. Guinevere is one of my favorite. I think I've drawn Guinevere 3 times now. I've got this one, and this one. Really interesting character. I really like the story for her, and she is also now becoming a very prominent character in my current campaign. Originally wasn't meant to be, but as you know, campaigns go different ways, they kind of get derailed. So now Guinevere is becoming a more prominent character, and I'm really happy about it. It means my campaign gets to go on a little longer. I get to explore my world a little more, build on lore, and build these characters and places with my players. I'm really enjoying it. Now, one of the last 2 gods I will talk about is the Raven Child, a chaotic neutral force with domains in the twilight and nature. Their symbol is a symbol of a young girl's face with a raven crossing her other eye. The Raven Child used to be a small girl with no parents, who would walk the streets of Vatania looking for food and scraps to feast on. One day she decided to go on a quest for light in her life, deciding that she was not going to just live this life as a poor orphan. In this quest for light, she found the dark, an entryway to the abyss, which surprisingly would embrace her. Queen Seowyn taking the Raven Child in as one of her own, ascending her to godhood. Type of vibe I'm going for with the Raven Child is sort of like a Rani vibe, very mysterious, very blunt about what they want, and extremely powerful. The name I was inspired by an Avantasia song, The Raven Child, one of my favorite songs. So good. But the Raven Child would use ravens to either send messages, keep a watch on stuff she needs to keep an eye on, stuff like that. Very powerful god, very loyal to her new mother, great relationship with her brother Elwyn, who would have sort of a soft spot for her, and is currently the god looking out for my party as they travel through the abyss. Now, the last god I want to talk about is my most recent one. Not a lot of writing to, but I do have a drawing. This is Fia. Fia being the goddess of nature, the controlling force of every part of nature in the world of Vatania. Really cool, personality wise, sort of a nerd, likes to research a lot of things, likes to read a lot of books, a lot of stuff like that. But in terms of lore, I've none yet, I'm sorry. But Fia is actually the drawing that has been playing along throughout this video. The only drawing I've actually remembered to record. I say this, I want to do more art content and a lot more stuff like this, and then forget to actually record myself drawing, and then by the time I'm almost done, I'm like, shit, forgot to record. But this is Fia. Really happy with her design. She's extremely pretty. I love the tattoos. I love everything about it, and she is the goddess of nature. Now, that is all I have for now. I will be doing more as the weeks progress. If you want to keep an eye out, go to my Bluesky or my Instagram to keep an eye on anything I do about Vatania. I'll also have more videos about it coming out soon. But again, I know this isn't everyone's cup of tea here on the channel. I know not everyone is into D&D or maybe art or just the whole fantasy worlds in general, but this is something I'm really passionate about, something that means a lot to me, and I want to make more content just kind of everywhere about this. It is more of who I am, I guess you could say, personality wise, and I really enjoy talking about it. I have a big sort of sense of pride with it, so it's kind of a bit scary sharing this here on the channel, but I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope a lot of it made sense, and if you want to see more, check me out on Instagram or Bluesky. It's where I post most stuff about Vatania. But I will leave this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, hit that subscribe button. It is the best way to help out the channel, and if you've made it to this point in the video, you've already done so much to support me anyway, so I can't thank you enough. Check out my social media link below, and if you want to get any of this artwork I've put on the video, you can check it all out on Display. Get yourself a pretty cool poster. Display over there are always running sales or special offers, so pretty great. So if you want to go check that out, link is in the description as well. Not only does that support me, but you get a sick poster as well. But yeah, that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. I love you. Stay safe.